Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeni Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Chaitanyam Sarvagam Sarvam Sarvabhuta Guhashayam Yat Sarva Vishayatitam Tasmai Sarvavide Namaha. Read verse 144. न कश्चिच्चेष्यते धर्मः इति चेत् पक्षहानता नन्वस्तित्वादयो धर्माः नास्तित्वादिनिवृत्तयः न भूतेस्तर्हि नाशित्वम् स्वालक्षण्यं मतं हि ते येषां मते सत्त्वादि अपि धर्मो नैष्यते इति मतं. What the Buddha says that a thing does not possess any dharma, any essential nature. Basically, Buddhism, the way it is presented here, only teaches the nihilism, you call it, or shunyavada. Ultimately, everything reduces to nothing. Then something cannot have any essence or dharma. Dharma or svabhava is there, it will never get destroyed. Fire will always be hot as long as fire is there. So, they don't accept any dharma, any sattvam, any kind of essential nature of anything. But the sattvadihi, similarly also, that the part exists, existence. Dharma naishyate iti matam. That existence also is not the essential nature, because if it is essential nature, then a thing will always exist. In that case, there cannot be shunyata or non-existence. Therefore, sattvadi api dharmo naishyate iti matam. Even sattva, the existence also, you say, is not a dharma. Dakshanikatva pakshasyapi asiddhihi. Then you cannot even arrive at the kshanikatva or momentariness of everything which is what you say. So on one hand, they say that a thing does not possess any dharma or essential nature. On the other hand, they say that everything is momentary. So that momentariness also, is it dharma or not? Is it nature or not? न कश्चित् चेष्यते dharma heti chet. So there is no, Buddha says there is no dharma, no essential nature. Pakshahanata, then Siddhanta says that your own paksha of momentariness also will be disproven. Nanu astittvadayo dharmaha nastitvadi nivrittaya. So as well, our definition of dharma is, what is astitva? The absence of nastitva. Astitvadayo dharmaha. That something is means that it is not is, Nastitvadi nivrittaya. Na bhutes tarhi nashitvam. Then anubhuti or consciousness is nashi, meaning that constantly getting destroyed. Every moment it arises and then this gets destroyed. Then also you cannot establish your svalakshanyam. You say that the consciousness knows itself is swasamvedyam, it knows itself. That there is no knower of momentariness. It knows itself. If that it knows itself, then also you have to accept a knower. How is it so? Sveneva lakshyate jnayate iti swalakshanam. That the kshanikatvam knows itself as kshanika. Tatah savikalpatvat akshanikatva satvat. Then there is knower and known, and therefore in that case there cannot be momentariness. The idea is that you cannot establish your own position. So then we saw the verse 145 clarifying this. Swarakshana avadhirnashaha nasho nashanivrittita agora sattvam gotvam te natu tad gotva lakshanam. This swalakshana avadihi nashaha. What we are saying is karyam vinashyat na niravadhi nashyati. Something does not get destroyed without a reference point. Idamatra nasti, this pot is not here. So the pot is not. In order for you to get the knowledge or understanding of pot is not, you need some reference that pot is not here. Idam idanim nasti. That pot is not here now. Nashtam itiva. Or the pot is gone, disappeared. Itiva nasho, even the nasha also is always understood in this sense, in our mind. Tasmat kimapi asti vinasha avandhibhutam. So vinasha, the destruction also is always explained or understood. With avadhi, with reference to a place, it is not here. Time, it is not now. Vastu, it is not this. Avinicchat anutpannam svatasiddham cheti abhyupeyam. And therefore, anything that gets destroyed avinashyat anutpannam. If it does not get destroyed, it is not created. So then it is there on its own. So Svalakshana avadirnasha nasho. So Svalakshana avadirnasha. Meaning sa avadihi simayasya vinashasya. Every vinasha also is a sima, that it is not here, it is not now, it is not this. That is how even the nasha, the absence of something, is understood with reference to something else. Without a reference of time, place or vastu, we cannot even know the absence of something. Tathacha tvanmate avirbhavat tirobhavaho avadibhutasya sthirasya bhavat. So there is something sthiram. Vinasha also expects something sthiram or something not. So pot is not here. That place is here. Pot is not now. The time is here. So vinasha also is with reference something that does not die, is not destroyed. Avadibhutasya sthirasya abhavat. No, you don't accept anything sthiram. You don't accept time, place, situation at all as sthiram, means as obtaining, abiding, non-dying, non-destructing. You don't accept any reference point for distraction. Na sattva vinashayoho siddhi iti. Then how will you make the other person understand that something is not? Where is it not? When is it not? What is it not? So when, where, what, some reference, even something is not also is understood with reference to some time, place or an object. Avadibhutasya sthirasya bhavat. The culmination of nasha is something that does not get destroyed, whether it's time, place or some object. Na vinasha, you cannot arrive at vinasha, nor can you arrive at the existence. Sat vinashayo na siddhi. You can't say something is because something is here. Something is now. If here is not there, that if reference is not there, you can't even describe existence of something, or you can't communicate existence of something, nor can you communicate the non-existence of something. That something is cannot be arrived at by me unless it is reference to something which is a steady reference point. Kincha apoha pakshe anyonyashrayascha prasajyeda. If the cow is the absence of non-cow, then what is non-cow? Non-cow is absence of cow. They say, what is cow? Absence of non-cow. All that. What is non-cow? Absence of cow. When the cow is not known, it is established. Where is absence of cow? Where is absence of non-cow? Siddhe nashe tadvirodhina anasatya siddhi. When nasha is established, then anasha can be established. Tat siddho tadapahurupa nasha siddhi. Then if you want to say this absence of cow, the cow must be first established. Then nasha of the cow must be established. Then cow can be, a non-cow must be established, nasha of non-cow must be established, then cow can be established. So one thing depends upon the other. You can never arrive at the thing is, fellows will be always, what are you talking about? Simply making definitions does not serve the purpose, because the vyavahara is there, you have to communicate. Whatever principles you have arrived at or formed, those principles must be able to explain and conduct all Vyavahara. Even Vedantin also says that Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, all is Brahma. That also must be able to explain and able and allow you to conduct Vyavahara. That this is apparent. It is Brahma in its ultimate reality. What you perceive is apparent reality. And so all Vyavahara is taking place at that level. So there is nothing, means there is nothing steady, there is nothing real. But how do you explain something that you perceive? Well, it has some kind of reality called mithya. So this way, whatever principle you have should be able to explain and enable you to conduct all Vyavahara. And Vedanta then claims that Vedanta alone is what can truly explain all the Vyavahara. Nothing else can. Anyway, so certainly Buddhism or Shunyavada cannot. Yadu samanyam anabhyamachata bauddhena. They don't accept samanyam, means cowness they don't accept, jati. In order to identify a cow, you must know what cowness is, isn't it? But if jati, samanya is not accepted, then how do you arrive at the vishesha? Ago vyavrutti go lakshanam iti abhivagamyate. Go lakshanam. What is the nature of cow? Ago vyavrutti. Absence of non-cowness. What is cow? Absence of non-cowness. Tat anupannam. That doesn't make sense. Anyonyashrasya tat tadavastya. The anyonyashraya is not yet eliminated. Because what is cow? The opposite of non-cow. What is non-cow? Opposite of cow. So without cow you cannot arrive at non-cow. Without non-cow you cannot arrive at cow. And there anyonyashrayatvam. So you can never arrive at anything. To know non-cow, you must know cow. To know cow, you must know non-cow. Therefore, tadavastham, meaning that this anyonyashraya will continue to remain. So, second, agoho asatvam gotvam te. What is gotvam? Agoho asatvam. What is cowness? Absence of non-cowness. Tat gotva lakshanam, that cannot be the lakshanam or the nature of cow. Goho anyasya ashvatvade agopad abhideyasya asatvam. So agopad abhideyasya. What is ago? Ashva, let us say. Horse is non-cow. So what is cow? Other than horse, something like that, you know. Sarva nivritti abhava gotvam. What is cowness? The opposite of non-cowness. Where is non-cow? And a horse is non-cow. So what is cowness? Opposite of horseness. But buffalo also is non-cow. So what is a cow? Absence of buffalo. You understand what? Because what is meant by non-cow? Everything is non-cow other than cow. Tattu na gotva lakshanam siddhyate ashvasyapi gotva vyavrti. Then what is ashva? Non-ashva. Absence of non-ashva. What is ashva? Not cow. What is cow? Not horse. So to know cow you must need no horse, and to know horse you must need cow, etc. Paraspara apeksha siddhitvat. So now continue verse 146. Apohavade doshant. If apoha means absence, this whole vada, that goho asatvam gotvam. Whereas calmness is the absence of non-calmness, is apohavada. Meaning that you arrive at something by negating something. Apoha means negation. Doshantaramaha. So anyonya sapekshatvam is a dosha. Doshantaram is being stayed now. So says 146. Kshanavachyopi yortha syad. Sopyanya bhava evate. Kshanavachyopi yaha artha syat. Artha means padartha, any object, any entity, which you say is kshanavacha, is momentary. Sopi anya bhava evate, for you also, that also is the absence of something in apohavada. So anya bhava means a kshanika, akshanika abhava. What is kshanikatvam? Akshanikatva bhava. So what is kshana? What is the moment? Absence of non-moment. Sthiropi kshanikata virodhitva vivagata syat. So kshanika bhava kshanaha iti te prasajyate. Even for you to explain what is momentary, you have to say that it is the absence of moment, is sthiram. What is it where the momentariness is not there, that it is steady? So you have to accept something steady in order to explain something momentary. If momentary is opposed to non-momentary, non-momentary is something that is steady, sthira. So sthiropi kshanikta virodhi astva abhivagataha. To explain kshanikatvam, you must accept sthira and then negate it. If momentariness is the absence of non-momentary, what is non-momentary is sthira. So you must accept sthira first and then negate it to arrive at the momentariness. So sthira api tvaya abhivagata, so that's another problem. So anyonya apeksha was one problem. And then in order to negate something, you must accept the opposite. If momentariness is negation of non-momentary, then non-momentary is sthira. So you must say, suppose cow is the absence of horse, then horse has to be accepted to know the cow. So if the momentary is the absence of or opposite of non-momentary, then opposite is sthiram. Then you'd accept sthiram and then negate it. Then you see, he gets fed up. Sometimes you get irritated with, you push them into the corner. Nanu abhava nama na satah nivritti ishyate. Abhava is non-existence. We do not mean non-existence is the absence of existence. Na satah nivritti ishyate. Ati prasangasya, because then it applies to everywhere. Ati prasanga means what? If cow is not horse and cow is not buffalo and cow is, then it will apply everywhere. So where will you come? Ati prasanga means one will applies to more than one places. It is not intended. So abhava nama na satha nivritti. We don't say that abhava, non-existence, is the absence of existence. Kintu nirupakya eva, something that cannot be described. So you are describing sataha nivritti bhavaha, abhavaha. Sataha nivritti abhavaha. Absence of existence is non-existence. Says no, kintu nirupakya eva anya vyavrutyatmana abhilapyate iti. Not a specific thing. Anya vyavrutyatmana abhilapyate. We don't say that it is absence of this, absence of cow and absence of horse and absence of this. It is an absence. So now absence also of cow, then absence of horse. What is cow? Absence of horse, absence of buffalo, absence of elephant. What? Absence of what? It's called Ati Prasanga. Applies to so many things. He says we are saying is absence. Nirupakya means that which cannot be described, you know. Anyavyavruttyatmana abhilapyate. It is simply absence of the other, not absence of a given thing. So cow is not absence of a horse, absence of the other, whatever. So let us see verse 147. So when we say absence of cow, absence of horse, we do not mean in fact a horse as such, we mean absence only. We do not mean absence of something. What is cow? Absence of other. We don't mean absence of horse and absence of buffalo. Even that also does not convey what cow is. Bheda bhavepya bhavasya Bhedo nama bhirishyate Nama bhedairane Ekasya syat katham tava. Bheda abhave api abhavasya bhedah nama ishyate. Abhavasya bhedah. Non-existence of a cow and non-existence of a horse and non-existence of a buffalo. So non-existence also has so many kinds, you know. Abhavasya bhe nama ishyate. As though the non-existence of cow is of one kind and different from non-existence of a horse. Nama. So you are naming the non-existence. Non-existence of cow, non-existence of horse, non-existence of buffalo. Implying thereby that non-existence of cow is one kind, different from non-existence of horse, different from non-existence of buffalo, etc. So Namabihi, the non-existence also is named. And that way non-existence also is many. Bheda. As though non-existence of cow is different from non-existence of horse, is different from non-existence of buffalo. Nama bhedahi anekatvam ekasastyat katham tava. Non-existence of one kind. By saying non-existence of horse and non-existence of buffalo and non-existence of elephant, you are implying different kinds of non-existence. How can that be so? Just by giving name, you cannot divide non-existence is indivisible, indivisible. So simply by giving names to non-existence of buffalo and non-existence of elephant, you cannot divide non-existence because it is without any vishesha. Abhavasya swarupataha bheda bhavepi. Non-existence is swarupaha. Non-existence of horse and non-existence of cow, that non-existence cannot be different. Swarupata, non-existence cannot be different kinds. Agotvam, ashwatvam. But when you say that, what is horseness, non-cowness? What is cowness, non-horseness? So agotvam, anashvatvam, ityadi namavi swarupeda ishyate ityartha. Still for you to describe a cow, you say a cow is absence of horseness and cow is absence of buffalo-ness. So that absence or abhava also has to be named as cow absence. So non-existence cow and non-existence of buffalo and non-existence of Ishya. You name it. You name also the abhava. This is what happens to you. Na vedai anekatvam. So when you give different names, it looks like there are different kinds of non-existences. How can you non-existence of buffalo and different non-existence of cow? Ekasya nisvabhavasya abhava. Abhava doesn't have a nature. It is one non-existence without any kind of attribute. Na vedai. But then you say non-existent horse and non-existent cow and non-existent of this. So the abhava also is named. Nirarthaka sanya vedai creates an idea that there are different kinds of non-existences by giving them name. Non-existence of horse is as though non-existence of buffalo, that they're different. Nirarthaka sanya vedai. You are giving sanya names to non-existence which is meaningless because non-existence cannot be of different kinds. Anekatvam, aneka padartha, sadharanatya, vyavritya tatmam to katham ghateda. So how do you arrive at many non-existence? By giving them name of a non-existence of horse and non-existence of cow. अनेक पदार्थ असाधारणतया व्यावृत्यात्मत्वम. As though the non-existence of horse is different from non-existence of a buffalo. So अनेक पद असाधारणतया. Asadhan is not common. With a non-existent buffalo, as though that non-existence is different from the non-existence of cow. Then only you can give name. Otherwise, how can you give name? You call it bangle and you call it earring and you call it, a nose ring, which is, you give them name and this is asadharana. This possesses bangleness, that possesses, earringness, etc. Then you can give different names. But non-existence is this kind of different things. That non-existent horse is different from that of buffalo, then it's okay. If non-existence is one, without any distinction, then how, by giving names, how do you separate them? How do you make them many? How do you say that cow is non-existent horse? Aneka padartha asadharanataya vyavrittatmatmam. So in cow you are negating horse, in horse you are negating buffalo, as though negated horse is different from negated buffalo. And so katham ghateda. How that negation, how the absence is different just by giving names? You follow? Kincha bhinnanam vyavrutti apoha abhinnanam va bhinnanam vyavrutti. The negation of those which are distinct or negation of non-distinct. What is apoha? What is negation? When you want to negate, what is cow? Non-horse. So bhinnanam vyavrutti, non-horse, non-buffalo, are they different from each other? Abhinnanam va, all they are the same. Tatra adyamanudya dushayati. Before he can say anything, we are telling different pakshas to him. What do you say amounts to this, So, bhinnanam vyavrutti apoha. Excluding different things is called negation. Or excluding the same non-different things is negation. So, adyam dushayati apoho yaditi. What is adyam? Bhinnanam vyavrutti. That you are negating different things that are different from each other. Apoho yadi bhinnanam vrittistasya katham gave Na bhava bhedaka sarve vishesha va kathanchana. Apoho yadi bhinnanam. If cow is absence of horse and buffalo is absence of elephant and table is absence of chair, bhinnanam apoha, negation of different things, then vrittis tasya katham gavi, then in cow, how do you arrive at the application of different things, See, the Tikakara says, Bheda Pratiyoginam Anantyat. When you want to negate what is cow, not a horse, not an elephant, not a table, Anantyat, what you can negate is countless, isn't it? Why do you say cow is non-horse? It can be non-elephant, it can be non-lion, whatever. Bheda Pratiyoginam. So those which can be negated are countless. Avagamantarena, so unless you know all those countless things, how do you arrive at the cow? Tadapoha anavagamat. Therefore, what is cow? Non-horse. The other fellow says no, non-elephant. The other fellow says table, whatever. So, tadapoha anavagamat, only 3 words are coming out, right now. But so, apoha anavagamat. Therefore, you cannot, he says, no, but I say that house is, horse is the absence of a lion or something like that. So antya, what you can negate is countless and you can never arrive at the countless thing. Therefore, you can never arrive at the finality of what is this thing. Tasya apohasya gavihi vrittihi katham. Therefore, how can you arrive at the vritti or presence of the absence of countless things in cow? A cow is not just absence of horse, absence of lion also, absence of tiger also. So you have to say absence of countless things to arrive at the cow. Gavihi vrittihi katham siddhyedi shesha. So how will you arrive at the cow unless you are able to negate all those countless things which are not in the cow? Therefore, cowness cannot be arrived at. Tada siddho kinchit abhavasya. So you cannot arrive at any entity. Kinchit abhavasya kvachit sulabhatvat. And therefore, cowness is absent in horse also, and that's it. Sulabhatvat, vyavhar anima prasanga. So how will you communicate cow? Because absence of horse is in cow also, is in buffalo also, is in deer also, is in everything. So how will you know what is absence of horse? Will you know cow? Will you know an elephant? What will you know? Kvachit sulabhatvat. Absence of hoarseness is everywhere, in there. When you say cow is this, how will you arrive at that? So therefore, apoho yadi bhinnanam vritti. If negation of the opposite or different is cowness, then katham gavi siddhyet. How will you arrive at anything such as cow? Because what is to be negated is countless. न भावाः भेदकाः सर्वे विशेषाः वा कथञ्चन सर्वे अभावाः अजत्व अश्वत्व आदि अपोहरूपः न भेदकाः. So you say ajatva means what? Aja means a goat, ajatva, non-goat. Ashvatva, non-horse. So, na bhedakaha. The non-goatness cannot be distinguished from non-horseness. If non-goatness is different from non-horseness, bhedakaha, if they are different, then न गोहो iteretara vyavritta buddhi janakaha syuhu. Therefore, न गोहो iteretara vyavritti buddhi janakaha syuhu. If you want to say goho is so anajatvam, anashvatvam, whatever. But absence of vaja is not different absence of horse, etc. Na bhedakaha. And then when itaretara vyavritbuddhi janakaha nasyuhu. Therefore you cannot negate in horse what is not horse. What is not horse is countless. And therefore you have not yet arrived at what is not horse because it is not an elephant, it is not a cow, etc. etc. Tatha visheshaha, so absence also cannot be, or bhavarupaha. Khanda mundatvadayo bhedikaha nasyuhu. Khanda means a broken horn. Khanda. Munda means hornlessness, I guess. So cow has this kind of distinction. One cow, poor thing, doesn't have a horn. Other cow doesn't have horns at all. Broken, sometimes. So it may be damaged or whatever. And then you cannot distinguish one cow from the other. That this cow is hornless, this cow is one horn broken. Because you are not arrived at the cow and not arrived at anything. So how will you distinguish one cow from the other? Bhedya bhedakayoho bheda asiddhehe. Bhedya, what is distinguished? Bhedaka, what distinguishes? You say that what is this cow? It is hornless. What is this cow with two horns? So two horns distinguish this cow, hornlessness distinguish that cow, etc. That's called bhedaka. And cow is bhedya. Bhedya bhedakayo bheda asiddhe, but you have not arrived at what is a horn and what is two horns, what is two, what is one. So that bhedaka you have not arrived at. So what is cow, what is horse, not bhedya also is not. Say bhedya is cow which you want to distinguish. Bhedaka is a horn with which you want to. So this cow is hornless. But what is a horn? It's not a leg. It's not a, it's not a tail, So you're not arrived at horn. And then what is a cow? It's not a horse, it's not. So bhedya, you're not arrived at anything. So you can't come to anything. How will you even conduct any vyavahara at all? Evam cha apodavade, apohavade, khanda gauhu, neelamutpalam ityadi, vishishta vyavahara asiddhi. If describing anything is only by negating what it is not or negating something else, it's apohavada. So we say this is how it is. They say this is how it is not. Apohavada. Khanda gauhu, this cow has one broken horn. Neel mutpalam, so blue lotus. Ityadi vishishta vyavahara asiddhi. This shabda prayoga that this is a hornless cow, this is a blue lotus, that will not take place. You won't be able to do this. Yam gauhu, this is a cow, iti. Ityadi asadharana svara vyavahara asiddhischa syat. Iti. And this is cow, iyam gauhu iti, ityadi, asadharana swarupa vyavahara asiddhi. Asadharana swarupa. That cow has its own kind of swarupa, and buffalo has own kind of swarupa, and horse has. So asadharana swarupa. You can distinguish that this flower has its own uniqueness. Asadharana means every entity has its own uniqueness because of which you can describe it. Even though many parts may look alike, even then, if you want to point out one part, there is uniqueness that it is here, See, it is on the left corner of the table. So many shirts are there. Which shirt do I wear? One that is in the third shelf, in this corner. So some asadharanatvam has to be described to distinguish something, to communicate. Asadharana swarupa vyavahara siddhischa. But then, what is third is different from second, and what is second different from fifth, and so forth. So you not arrived at third self. Therefore, how will you arrive at the shirt that is in the third shelf? You follow? So that shirt requires recognition of a shelf and third shelf. So what is third you are not arrived at, you are still wondering. What is shelf you are not arrived at. Then what is shirt also you are not arrived at. And that way, apohavada, if something is to be pointed out by negating what it is not, then you will never arrive at anything. Iti abhiprete apoho nirakarana upasamharati. Enough. So, the negation of the apohavada or arriving at by negation is now concluded here. Namajatya-dayo yadvata samvidaste visheshatah pratyakshamanumanam va vyavahare yadichhasi. Namajatya-dayo yadvat. Just as the name, nama, jati, samvidaste avisheshatah. Even samvida also doesn't have any visheshata. Consciousness also, nothing has any visheshata. Everything is known by what it is not. If visheshata is there, that this watch possesses watchness, then you know that by watchness you know. If this watch is not flowerness and not potness and not thisness and thatness, if that is how you arrive at, then samvida also. Nama jatyado, just as nama and jati etc., samvidaha also for consciousness also avisheshataha. Pratyaksham anumanam va vyavahare yadichhasi. If you want pratyaksha perception, this much they accept fortunately. They accept perception. They accept inference. They may not accept other kind of, we accept all, Vedanta accept the 6 pramana. But some people accept 2, some people 3, 4, 5, 6. Te tavamate samvida avisheshatah nirvisheshatvat nama jatyadayo yadvatna visheshanam. So, te mate samvida avishesha nirvisheshatvat. Because in your opinion, samvid or consciousness is without any attributes, without any distinction. Nama jatyadayo yadvat na vishesham. So a name does not distinguish one thing from the other. A jati species does not distinguish because no distinctions are there. Otherwise you say this is a pot, distinguished from a cloth. So nama. Jati, this is Brahmana, distinguished from a Kshatriya, etc. So, yadvat na visheshanam, but then this person doesn't have any visheshanam such as a name, such as a jati. Evam gavadinam avagadi vyavruttaya khandadeva na visheshanamiti. Similarly also, how do you say cow is absence of non-cow? That also becomes a distinct. You want to distinguish a cow somehow. But there is no distinguishing feature, anything that, according to you, that nothing has a distinguishing feature. So how do you say absence of horse is a distinguishing feature? We distinguish a cow. Khandadayava, that this is a horn, or this is a broken horn, etc. Because you do not accept any distinction at all, so you can't arrive at any entity. Vishishta vyavahara lopahevaiti, therefore the vyavahara always involves distinction. then only you give it to so, give it to this, give it to Devadatta. Give it to, And so, Vyavahara requires distinction. Give it to Devadatta, otherwise you go and give it to anybody. He says, no, I don't mean that. Then what did you say? I mean that. Which one? Say Devadatta, not Yajnadatta, not Vishwamitra, whatever. Vishishta Vyavaharalopayata Jivanamiti Durlaham, thereby you can't conduct your life. Unless you name something, distinguish something, it is not possible to conduct any interaction at all. So pratyaksha is not possible, anumana if you want. Perception, then you to perceive a clog and perceive a smoke, then you arrive at anumana of a fire. So some distinct entity called smoke has to be recognized, a distinct entity called fire has to be recognized. Don't recognize them, then what do you perceive and what do you infer? So you cannot do any vyavahara at all. Jivano durlabham. Without this we can't live. See, these things we don't even realize that in our communication, our life. Perception is always there, inference also is there, these pramanas are there. We may not make a note of them. So Anupalabdhi pramana also is there. No, I don't find this cereal here. Something like that. And so all pramanas are there. Shabda is a pramana or cereal. Why do you bring the soup? Whatever it is. So thus these pramanas are required to conduct the vyavahara. But what is cereal? Now you haven't arrived at this, And what is a soup? You are not. Then how will you do any kind of vyavahara at all? Yaduktam bhutiriyesham kriyasaivam 143. You have to go back to this. Bhutiriyesham kriyasaiva karakam saiva chochate sattvam nashitvam asyasche sakartritvam tatheschatam. Bhuti means anubhuti. Means consciousness. Yesham kriyasaiva karakam, because they don't accept the kriya karaka bheda. So for them the consciousness is kriya, consciousness is karaka, means the accessories for performing action. Sattvam nashitvam asyasya. And what is the nature of this consciousness? Nashitvam, constantly undergoing destruction, means momentariness. Sakartrutvam tatheshata. Then we said that you know you need somebody to arrive at the momentariness, sakartrutvam. To arrive at nashitvam also, that this consciousness is constantly subject to destruction, is momentary. There has to be sakshi to know that, so sakartrutvam. Therefore, even momentariness also requires a knower to arrive at the momentariness. So this was the thing. So going back here to page 390, Yaduktam bhutiriyesham kriyasaivam ityatra samvida kriyakaraka bheda apeksha nasti iti. Bhuti yesham kriyasaiva, for whom bhuti, anubhuti, consciousness itself is everything. They don't accept distinction, therefore that itself is kriya, that it's so, that itself is karaka. Samvida kriya karaka bhedapeksha nasti iti. This is what you say. That consciousness does not require any distinction, such as the kriya karaka. Tat pratyaksham anumanam cheti pramanadvya abhyuga viruddham. Then how do you call it perception? This thing you call perception, something else you call inference. So unless perception is different from inference, there are distinctions. So now anubhuti, what? Knowledge. So perception is also knowledge. Of one kind of knowledge is called perception. Other kind of knowledge is called inference. Unless you distinguish knowledge, you cannot call this perception, that I see this what perception? The smoke, inference. So unless you have distinction in knowledge also, how can you arrive at this perception? Even if you accept two pramana, perception, inference, this is knowledge due to perception, this is knowledge due to inference. If that distinction is not there, then pramanadvaya apyuga viruddham, you accept two pramanas. What is pramana? Means of knowledge. So perception means of knowledge by which you perceive things, by sense organ. Inference is means of knowledge by which you don't perceive and you infer the presence of something that you don't perceive. So these two pramanas they accept. Then you have to accept that the inferred knowledge is different from perceived. Knowledge by perception is different from knowledge by inference. Otherwise, how do you say this is inference? The fire is known by inference, so that's called inference. And smoke is perceived, that's called perception. So unless you distinguish between perception and inference, how can you arrive at even your vyavahara of perception? They accept these two, perception and inference. If perception is different from inference, then knowledge of perception is kind of knowledge, inference is another kind of knowledge. So you accept two kinds of knowledge to distinguish perception and inference. So in knowledge also you accept difference. If you don't accept difference, then how will you do vyavahara? So, bhutiri yesham, for those who do not accept any distinction in knowledge, they will not be able to arrive at the perception and inference, because perception is one kind of knowledge, inference is another kind of knowledge. I infer that you must have gone there yesterday, whatever, I presume. I think you didn't do that. I didn't think you didn't take that medicine. So, all of this vyavahara requires that this fellow's appearance looks like you're not taking a medicine, Swamiji. Looks like you are fasting. This requires perception. And seeing a person fasting is one kind of perception, seeing a person eating another kind of perception. So unless we accept this distinction, how will you arrive at vyavahara at all? And they say that the knowledge cannot have distinction. So, therefore, Pratyakshamidi, 150. Pratyakshamanumānam vā vyavahāre yadichasi kriyakāraka bhedaistata tadabhyupeyam dhruvam bhaved. Pratyaksham anumanam va vyavahare yadichasi. If you accept these two pramanam, pratyaksham anumanam, then kriya karga bhedehi. Pratyaksha requires also perception, requires a perceiver, requires an object of perception, requires act of perception, requires means of perception. So kriya karga bheda. You accept all that bheda, that is a perceiver called kartru, perceived called karma, means of perception called karana, perception called kriya. Tat abhyupeyam, then only there can be something called perception. Inference also will have different kind of inferer, inferred, etc. So if those distinctions are not there, how can you use inferred knowledge or perceived knowledge? So if knowledge by perception will be one kind, involving knower, known, knowing, knowledge by inference a different kind, knowing different knower, known knowledge. If those distinctions are not accepted, therefore, pratyaksham anumanam va vyavahare yadichasi. If you accept pratyaksha anumanam in the vyavahara, kriya karga bhedi tadabhyupeyam dhruvam bhaved, then to distinguish Perceptible knowledge requires a perceiver, a perceived and perception. Inference, you require inferred, and the inference. Dhruvam abhyupayam dhruvam bhave. You accept those distinctions, otherwise he doesn't want to accept any distinctions. तथा च संवेदन अतिरिक्त वेद्य वेदित्र स्वरूपम अनिच्छता अभ्युपेयम इति बौद्धम निराकरण उपसंहरति. तथा च, so with all of this now we see संवेदन अतिरिक्त. संवेदन means knowledge. अतिरिक्त वेदित्र स्वरूपम अनिच्छता अभ्युपेयम. Even if you do not want to know or knowing other than knowledge, you have to accept it. Then only perception, inference are possible. Iti Bauddhamatam Nirakaranam. Thus this Nirakaranam, the refutation of Bauddhamata is concluded. Tasmaditi. Tasman Nilam Tatha Pitam Patadirva Visheshanam संविदस्तदुपेभ्यं स्यात् येन चाप्यनुभूयते. तस्मात् नीलं तथा पीतं घटादिहि वा विशेषणम्. So this is Neelam, blue, Pitam, yellow. Oh, this is a part. These distinctions. Samvidah tat upeyam syat. So knowledge of a part, knowledge of blue, knowledge of yellow, you distinguish. This is a different kind of knowledge. Knowledge of blue is different from knowledge of green, different from knowledge of part. Unless you accept those distinctions, how do you perform vyavahara? Tadupeyam sat. So you have to accept that. Yena chapya, and then yena chapya, and then you must know also the fellow who experienced all that. So distinction in what is experienced, and the person who experiences all these distinctions have to be accepted for anumanam and pratyaksham, for you to accept. Therefore, you can't say there are no distinctions. And therefore, yena chapya anubhuvate sopi jnata abhyupeya syat. Therefore, jnata also is to be accepted, and that's how the Bauddhavata Nirakaranam, even though he doesn't want any distinctions in knowledge, he has to accept them for vyavahara, and that way the Bauddhamata refutation is concluded here. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari